Hello and welcome to part 2 of this month's Landlord's Tips. I'm Chloe Zangi, Rental Department Manager, and this is my colleague Laura Braun, our team leader from Valentic Property Consulting. Today we would like to provide you with the remaining 5 of our top 10 tips on deciding whether you want to self-manage your investment property or utilise the services of our property management department.
What happens when you go away on holidays, especially overseas? How will the tenants contact you for urgent maintenance? The REIV has a clause in the managing authority which states that your property manager, if has exhausted all options to contact you, can undergo non-urgent maintenance up to the amount of $500 and urgent maintenance up to the amount of $1,800 without your permission. If you do not have this understanding, this could leave you with a potential for a compensation claim if the maintenance, especially urgent, is not handled in the required time frame, 24 hours of being reported.
How about dealing with a warrant of possession? Do you know what to do if a tenant does not remove their belongings? Once the VCAT hearing has been heard and the member handed down their decision, awarding you with a warrant of possession, there is a process that follows which involves contacting the warrants officer from the local police station and organise a suitable time for you and them to attend. Just this step itself can take up to 28 days before the warrant is executed. And not to mention, once execution of the warrant has been carried out, if you are left with a property full of furniture and no will from the tenant wanting it removed, you will then need to get in contact with Consumer Affairs before you can empty the property.
Can you identify the difference between fair wear and tear and damage? And if so, how do you then determine a bond refund? Many landlords have a misunderstanding between wear and tear and damage. Scuff marks on walls, wear on the carpet in high traffic areas, and depreciation of fittings and fixtures within a property are not at all considered damage resultant of the tenancy. Everything ages over time, especially if there is a lack of upkeep from you as a landlord and the finger cannot always be pointed at the tenant. This is why you have 10 business days to refund a tenant's bond, so if you cannot differentiate between the two, an application to VCAT within this time frame will need to be made.
Do you know how much notice needs to be provided to the tenant for a routine inspection? When it comes to inspecting the property, some self-managing landlords tend to think that they can go to the property whenever it suits them, with either notice under the minimum requirement or none at all. This is not the case. Tenants are entitled to quiet enjoyment of the property, and because of this, there are certain notice periods outlined in the legislation that must be adhered to in order for a landlord to enter a premise to carry out routine inspections.
Are you aware of the electronic communication path? We now have the facility to issue important notices, especially those generated through VCAT, and communication to tenants electronically. This is great because it is time effective, instantly received, and cancels out postage delays that extends the time for the notice period. But did you know, as great as this sounds, you cannot proceed unless tenants have provided you with written consent. Now that you have heard all of our top 10 tips, we hope that we've been able to assist you in making the right decision for your valued investment property. Join us next month for more landlord tips.